Okay, my name is Lisa and I am a paranormal investigator. I have been for about 10, maybe nearly 12 years, and I am also a member of the Jamaica Inn Paranormal Team, and I help run events for the public who want to investigate the paranormal. I find the Jamaica Inn very interesting, not only for the paranormal reports, but the history of the inn as well, which another team member, Corinne, does a lot of work behind the scenes, researching the history, and also it's high up on Bodmin Moor, and you can arrive and it's brilliant sunshine, and then when it gets dark and the wind blows and the rain is battering the windows and you look outside and you cannot see a thing, not purely because it's dark, but because the mist and the fog has rolled in, and it's eerie, and it's such an amazing location and I absolutely love it. I've had quite a few paranormal experiences at the inn. Before I was part of the team, it's always been my favourite location to investigate. So I was walking back from the toilets, and it's what we call the haunted corridor because we've had children's footsteps and voices down there. And I believe a shadow man has been seen at the very end where the disabled toilets are. But I was walking back and the lights were on because we were just starting our break, where we stop and recollect what's happened and try and make sense of what's happened to us. And I was walking past a gift shop, and the gift shop is on this side, and out the corner of my eye in the gift shop, so it's the door that would access the car park, there is a lady stood there, hunched over figure and wearing one of the old Victorian mop caps. And in a split second, and you see something at the corner and you turn to look and there's nothing there. So I'm there with, because the lights weren't on in the gift shop, and I was there with my torch trying to work out what I'd seen and seeing if there was a display that would make me think there was a figure, and there was nothing there. It's just the door, which I found quite interesting. Another experience is I've slept in various rooms around the inn. As you can imagine, when we're hosting events there, we sleep over. And I was sleeping in room 4 with one of my friends, Crystal, and I didn't sleep all night, and it's the only room at the inn where I haven't slept. So I'm trying to sleep. I'm lying in the bed closest to the window, and all night something was nudging my foot, keeping me, every time you drop off, something nudging my foot all night, and I had to drive home. So we just stopped a lot on the way home where I hadn't slept all night. So that's another experience that I like to debunk things, and I try and like to work out if my mind is playing tricks on me. Was the window open and the blanket was moving, but I couldn't work out what was nudging my foot all night, which I find quite interesting. Another experience is I'm getting ready to set up in the museum, and it used to be old toilets, and it's now so that if you come in through and you pass the Daphne du Maurier section on your left hand side, you go through and there's another little room, and we normally set the Ouija board up there, or try table tipping because the table's quite the legs are going basically, and I'm there trying to set up, and I could feel this shadow of man towering over me, and I got quite freaked out because I'm in there on my own, and I'm like, well, that's new. I've not had that happen before. But now I've got used to it. I know who the spirit is now. And I'm just like, you need to go away now because I've just had enough, because I'm trying to work and, you're irritating me now. So that's another experience I've had. So there's been quite a few, to be honest with you, down there, which is what makes it so interesting to me, because I can't work out why it happens. I need an answer. Why did that happen? I haven't found one yet, so I'll keep going and keep trying. When we run the public events, we call them, where members of the public come in, and we don't teach you how to investigate. We have lots of things for you to try. We have something on your breaks that we like to call the smuggler's board. So any experiences you've had in relative areas where we've investigated, we ask you to write them down. And this is what we call evidence gathering, because as a team, we don't release everything that happens at the inn. Some things we like to keep secret, and we like to build up the evidence. So if something's happened in particular in, say, room 3, people will hear a baby crying, and that's happened quite a lot. So we like to gather evidence. So if a lot of different people have experienced the same thing, we find that really interesting. So we don't release it to the public until we've had quite a few experiences of the same thing, and then we may release it. We may choose to release it, or we may decide to keep it secret for a little bit longer and try and build on that and say, ask for this to happen. We never tell you why ask for that happen. It's all things that go on behind the scenes, so we can gather the evidence to see if it's a one-off. Maybe someone's sensitive to a certain thing and that's why it happened to them. If you get a complete skeptic that the same thing has happened to a sensitive, now that's really interesting. Okay, so at the Jamaica Inn, if you have been on one of our public paranormal nights, you will know we run what we call experiments. Don't worry, it's not like the laboratory and loads of different chemicals going into petri dishes and things. It's not like that. So in the stable block, we may do the human pendulum. In the museum, and also Craig has got a fantastic red light experiment that he runs in there as well. In the museum, we have several things set up around the museum. And in the bedrooms, we kind of like to leave you to it a little bit. So you will find a sheet in a folder and various bits of equipment, and we will ask you to be your own paranormal investigator. We are not run-of-the-mill team because we are investigators ourselves. If you have been with other companies, they will lead you around and they will do the asking out and say, is anyone getting anything? We don't do that. We like to turn you into the investigator. You are running the experiments. And as an investigator, I could go to a haunted location and paranormal investigators will sit in the dark and just listen. And that's it, just sit and listen. Occasionally may ask out and sit there quietly. But that can get quite boring. We love it because we're weird. And we don't mind doing that. And, we'll have a laugh and a joke. And laughter increases the activity. We don't know why. But whoever you're with, whether you're with your partner, your friend, or a complete stranger, laugh. Become friends. And you will get things happen. We have quite a few resident spirits at the inn. The most significant ones would be James Broad and Jack. We don't know Jack's surname, we don't know their stories because we can't, despite trying, we can't find any research for the spirit we affectionately call Jack. He may be called Geraldine for all we know. But with James Broad, because he is one of the original owners of the inn, so his father, John Broad, built the inn. But James Broad is particularly prevalent around the inn. He has been seen in very different places. He frequents the museum and the stable block more, but there has been a shadow figure seen on the corridor between rooms 5 and 6. Is that James Broad? Because he does present himself in shadow form. Is he also the spirit who stands in the bathroom doorway of room 6? But don't forget that the rooms weren't en suites back then. That was another bedroom. So was that his bedroom? So Should we call it room 7? No, we can't. Should we call it, I don't know, room 25? Because that used to be a bedroom. It wasn't a linen store and the 2 en suites for room 5 and room 6. There was one room. So is that why he's there? And, you know, he is the most, to me, he is the most prevalent spirit, but is that because he follows me around the inn since I wore my Georgian dress? He follows me around. And because when I'm at the inn, primarily, I'm in the stable block. And is that why he's in the stable block? Because I'm there? I don't know.